Oh, had to unmute myself. Good morning, everyone. Deanna says the sun is just cracking over the rim of the Rockies. I can't imagine how beautiful that must be. And Cactus Deb is here, but barely awake yet. You know what? I've been up since like 3:30, 4 o'clock. I just couldn't sleep. So anyway, good morning, my friend Linda from Ravenna, New York. And she agrees with Deb. It's too early to get up. Linda, hello from Brisbane. I know it's evening for you there. I hope you can hang in there with us. And if you can't, it's not a problem, Linda, because we will be sure that this is videotaped and it will be on the YouTube channels for 906 Quilting and for So Steady. Linda Lombardo, my Michigander buddy, and Monica's here from Durand, Illinois. It's so nice to see you again, Monica, and welcome. This morning we are going to work with our spin effects number 15. And Linda's here. She's got the time zone thing figured out and set an alarm. Oh, Linda, you are definitely loyal. Hi, Christina. Christina is from North Carolina, I believe. I'm trying to remember everybody. Wanda is easy, my friend from across town. Good to see you. And Susan said it's raining down in South Carolina. I think that's going to happen here later today. Kathy, good morning, my friend from El Paso, Texas. And Courtney is here from Grand Prairie, Texas. Di is here from a sunny Southern California. The Threaded Lady is back from Mesa, Arizona. Welcome back. And Carla's here from Oklahoma City. It is so nice to see all of you this morning. Okay, we are working with Spin-e-fex 15. This is one that comes, of course, in our basic sizes, and I'm going to try and quiet this one down here. Okay, and Priscilla's here from Oklahoma as well. Alice from Colorado. And Linda said the temps are going to be 105 today. We still are looking to break 70 degrees here, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen for the next 5 days for sure. But let's go ahead and look at our spin effects. Let's grab the 7.5. And I'm going to do this first one on the pin. I'm going to get the 5.5. Okay. I didn't draw my lines out far enough. So we'll go ahead and do the 5.5. So what I like to do is I do like to stitch out this 2-inch circle so that it makes it real easy for me to have something to follow as I'm stitching around. The reason that I like to do that, and technically we don't have to, okay? But the reason I like to do that is I can get off. You know how I squirrel on subjects. Well, I can get off on my templates too. Okay, so this just helps keep me going. This is a really nice template in the fact that what I'm going to show you next is some pretty amazing looks that we can get with this template. Okay, I'm just going to stop there and trim off that thread, get it out of the way for us. And around and up we're going to go. Remember, we want to just glide along the side of this template. We don't want to push the foot into the template or the template into the foot. That is where we can fall off of these little hills that we've got here and run ourselves into trouble. The other thing that I'm going to suggest is definitely practice with them. Okay? The more practice you get, the better off you're going to be. I'm going to go ahead and remove my tablet. You don't have to. I'm just going to do it to show you that there are different ways of doing this. And here we're going to be using an 8-point crosshair. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back on the tack. There we go. Make sure that I am lined up with my vertical line here. And we will do another rotation. Now this is going to just make one little bobble inside there, and I just ran out of bobbin thread. I don't believe it. We must have done a lot of stitching last night because it was full when we started. So I'm glad Janice is not here to see this. She would be saying, I told you so. And she would be absolutely right. Okay. Now, the one thing I like about this machine is changing the bobbin is swift and easy to do. And I apologize. I thought I had a lot more on here than I did. Okay, there we go. It's been a long time since I've run out of bobbin thread. I'm gonna take a little look here, make sure Janice isn't here. Hi, Terry. Oh, Regina, my friend, is here from North Georgia. Welcome. It's so good to see you. Okay. And Anne is here from Texas. Yes, Debbie says the designs are gorgeous, and I came across one where I'm going to use 12 points. Good morning, Susie. Welcome. And Lee from Indiana is here. So nice to see you. It's so nice to have you all here. Okay, there we go. All righty, we survived that crisis. Oh, and I don't see Janice here, so I don't have to worry. She won't yell at me. Okay, there we go. We're gonna just keep going now. Just one of those little glitches in life. Remember to keep those stitch lengths just a little bit shorter when we're going on curves like this. And we're going to take that stitch, hesitation stitch, and back to center. I'm going to go ahead and cut this. Would I leave this like this on a regular quilt? Absolutely not. Okay, now the other thing I want to show you is you can go ahead and leave your template in place and just travel around that circle. Your template will move with you. Okay, and we're going to come to the next. There we go. And we'll straighten up our template and we will come around. And this will be our third rotation of 8. And again, we're doing this on the pin. You know, we don't do them on the pin that often. And sometimes I'm unsure why we don't. Do we feel like it's too much bother? Is it so much extra work? And I just find neither of those things are true. It's not extra work. It's not an extra bother. It doesn't slow me down to the point where I feel it's not worth doing the design. And this is a great way, guys. It's a great way to do if you have a block with a lot of center seams crossing over. What this does is it still gives us that beautiful spin-e-fex look, and it doesn't make us go through the center and build up all that thread on top of seams that are already thick. Okay. The other way that I have found to help alleviate that is by using Deco Bob in the bob. And Deco Bob is a real light thread, and it will help so that you don't have that thread build up on the back of your quilt. Now, Donna McCulley only used gray thread, believe it or not. She never used colored thread, and her quilts were gorgeous. So when I bought Deco Bob for the back, I bought a light gray, a medium gray, and a dark gray. And those three colors seem to blend in with any fabric that I have. And I do very much like using that. So it's something to think about if you might be interested in using the Deco Bob. Okay, I've got so much I want to show you guys this morning. And we're just gonna finish this little guy up. And then we'll check the comments. And actually, I probably won't do all 8. Take your time going around this corner. Do my little hesitation stitch there. Make sure to do a hesitation stitch at the top. And we're going to come back around. And Deb is so right. This is just one of the nicest, prettiest templates I think that we have. And here we go. Look at that, guys. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm going to cut that thread. And on the pin, how beautiful is that? Okay, let's take a look where we're at. Marcia's here from Illinois. Good morning, Marcia. Welcome. Susie said she likes the pin because it keeps her in the right place. And there's a lot to be said for that, Susie. I do agree. But look at this. Oh my gosh, it looks like a double design because we have this flower going on here and this one going on here. So this definitely is worth doing it. Oh, Rita, good evening from Australia. I am so sorry you're not feeling well. I hope you can make it, but remember, if you can't, we do have this class on the 906 and the So Steady YouTube channels. And let me make sure that I've got a a link for you guys. I know what I'm trying to say is just not coming out. Okay, so I want to have a link for you. The coupon code should be working today. It was working last night. So if it was working last night, it should work this morning as well. Everything should be up for this week. Okay, I'll do that, get that code done. And there it is. It is so easy to do those codes. Well, Linda, hi. So nice to see you. Welcome. And here is our code. Don't forget, coupon code 20 gives you that 20% discount. So we're going to take this guy and put him aside. Really do like that. I am going to take my tack out though, because I have a habit of accidentally stepping on them. All right. The next one we're going to do. Okay. This is with a 6.1, 2, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-point crosshair. All right. Now I put this one in here because it's just what I do. It's habit with me. But we're not going to use this one. And let me double check that. I do want to make sure I've got that correct, and I do. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out, and you guys are going to see just how easily this erases off. It really comes out nice, very nice. We talked about this last night. Whoops, I just ripped my paper. Ah. So what we're going to do is we are going to make a 6-point, and we are going to make a 12-point. Aren't those awesome? Absolutely love them. Absolutely love them. And I couldn't wait to do them. I really couldn't. Hi, Pam is here from Maine. Welcome, Pam. It's so good to see you this morning. Oh, a little caffeine goes a long way, right? Um, let's see which one we're going to use this morning here. I guess these won't run over each other. So let's go ahead. We'll use the 5.5 inch. When I was practicing, I was actually practicing with a 3.5, but let's use the 5.5, okay? And get my needle up. Now I'm not using a pin this time. I'm just going to do straight stitching. My bobbin thread should last. Okay. Something. Oh, there we go. The thread just went over itself and I thought it was broken. All right. And there we go. We're going to go ahead and do it in this orientation so that you can see. Remember, it's awesome if you're able to practice going in different orientations. So then when you have a larger project under your needle, you won't have to worry about twisting that big old quilt around. This is just a skill that you can easily develop just with a little bit of practice. And to me, the skill is extremely valuable. Because remember, when we've got big quilts on there, they weigh a lot, and we don't want to have to try and turn them with every rotation that we do. And don't forget that a lot of times when we feel that drag on there, we can put our fabric into the suspension system and it will make things a lot easier for us. Definitely saves a lot of pain in our shoulders and back. All right, so here we go. Rotation number 2. When we do our spin-e-fex, what I like to point out is that almost all of them will give us a secondary design. That secondary design will change when we're doing a 6-point or 5-point or 8-point or any multiples thereof. Okay, so it's always a good idea to draw it out because if you're using your templates and you're working on a template project, by drawing it out, you're going to know where you're going to want those negative spaces to be, and it's really going to make a big difference for you. Always start off prepared. And it doesn't hurt to draw these out because we have a thing called muscle memory, okay? And I do believe in that. And what I believe is that once we have used that muscle memory or used that template, I think then it becomes easier for us when we actually get on the sewing machine. So drying them out is never a waste of time. And here we go. Keeping those stitches just a tad shorter. I used to like longer stitches when I was doing free motion quilting, and now I just have grown to love the shorter stitch length. And it all has to do with templates because when we're going around corners or we're going around curves, our machines are still stitching a straight stitch. So if we make a stitch just a little bit shorter, what's going to happen is we're going to have the illusion that our stitches are curved. They're not. Remember, they say straight no matter what. Our machines only, for example, this machine, I shouldn't say all machines, but this machine can only sew straight line forward and backward. That's it. That's all it can do. And even all those big fancy computerized machines, they don't sew a curved stitch. They sew a lot of fancy stitches that look like curves, but if you look closely, what you're going to find out is those are just straight stitches with a shorter stitch length combined to make it look like it's going in a circle. And this will be our last rotation on this. And this is a I used a 6-point crosshair on this particular one. I think we don't give enough credit to the 5 and 6-point crosshair rulers. And we should be using them more often because it's going to give us a completely different look. And here it is. That is 6 points. Isn't that beautiful? I absolutely love it. Okay, let's see. Bev is here from Dryden. Welcome, Bev. Uh, yeah, Rita, everybody hopes you do feel better. Oh my gosh, it's no fun to feel sick. Oh, Rhonda, are you in free motion? Rhonda, that's a really good question. Okay, so what I've got is this is guided free motion. We're using our template to get us where we need to be. However, we do have the feed dogs dropped. Okay, and we are actually controlling the movement of the needle and the fabric with our foot for the needle and with our hands for the fabric. And this is just a really awesome way to get a lot of gorgeous designs. We're going to stitch around the template here. And using a crosshair ruler, you see that I've stitched this 6 times around here. And that's a beautiful look. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make the same thing in 12 rotations. All right, so let's go ahead and pull up our bobbin thread. I hope that answers the question for you, Rhonda. Okay. And if there's more information you want to know, you can always get a hold of me. All right. My information is available on sewstay.com under the instructors page. And Terry is here. Hi, Terry. Are you back in Michigan yet? It should be pretty soon if you're not, right? Ronnie's here from Northeastern Arizona, and Chris is here from Nashville. Judy has joined us from Ohio. Welcome, Judy. Nice to see you. Susie said these designs are so elegant. And you know what? You're absolutely right. I find this particular template to be more on the formal side. I'm not really sure why exactly, but it's just, it's what I think, and we're all entitled to that. And I'm going to throw a little bit of light on the subject here. Okay, Susan asked, what is the finished size of your design? You see, I'm using a 5.5 inch template. The 5.5 inch template, let me, yeah, let me take this out here. We'll go over here, and I'm going to grab my ruler, and I'm going to show you how the spin-e-fex work. These all work this way too. When we say 5.5 inch design or 5.5 inch template, it is from point to point. Okay. It is not from center out. It is from the outside to the outside. So into the center is actually 2 3/4 inches. So we have 2 3/4 inches plus 2 3/4 inches equals 5.5. So that is how our design size is determined. And we have a lot of different size templates. Actually, let's go ahead and use a different size on this one. Let's shrink it down a little bit and use the 3.5. So this is the 3.5 inch template. So what's going to happen when I get done, this is going to be half of 3.5 or 1 3/4. Okay. Yes, 1 3/4. And then we're going to add the 1 3/4 on here on this side. So from here to here will be 3.5 inches. Okay, let's stitch that out. And hopefully, and that I like to say we proof our numbers and that this is exactly how we do it. You can do it on paper or you can do it on practice fabric. I love to do things on practice fabric because then when I come to my real fabric, there's no surprises, right? Okay, so what the other thing I wanted to show you is this is a 6 point drawn out with the 3.5. And if you look closely at this design here, you've got these little petals right here with these kind of chevron or well, I'm not really shield looking shapes here. And what you're going to see is on the 5.5, you have the same interior petals and the same shield looking shapes along here. So it doesn't matter the size. The look is going to be the same, but the size will change from point to point. Does that help at all? Carla says, turn it over. Uh, okay, let's back up. Okay, Susan, that was your question that I just explained. I want to make sure that I explained it well and you understand it. Awesome, awesome. Okay. Linda says, several weeks ago, you mentioned that you polish your glider every day. I've started polishing mine every morning, and wow, have I noticed a huge difference in the ease of use guiding her templates. Linda, I am so happy that it has helped you. It really makes a huge difference. I have an old vintage singer. Every morning I vacuum, I oil, I change my needle, and polish my glider. It's kind of like getting up in the morning and brushing my teeth and taking a shower and combing my hair and all that other fun stuff. Um, it just helps, if we take care of our tools, they will take care of us, right? Okay. Carla, you said turn it over, but I'm not really oh, the template. The template. Okay, now I cannot turn my template over. Oh, you mean like this, right? You meant to, and I am going to do that. Okay, that's coming up with the next uh, fabric that I have. What I'm doing here is I want to show you the difference between the 6 point and the 12 point. Okay, so let's go ahead do this, and then we're going to go ahead and go back over to the other side where we are going to turn the template over. So what you're going to see is those points coming out on the inside, and I do believe that's what you're talking about, Carla. Please correct me if I'm wrong, okay? So let's go ahead and do this. And maybe we'll only do half of it because I have some real fun stuff I want to show you. And what I want you to notice again is that this makes the same shape. It makes the same secondary shapes. It just does it a little tighter. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get that out of there. And here we go. With the 3.5 inch, I do like to keep my stitches smaller. And you know, that's a good point to bring up. When I'm doing really small things like 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch circles, I do like to keep that stitch length in proportion to the template that I'm using. So for those two things, I do use a really small stitch, which really is a big surprise to me. Okay. Normally I would go across, but because I'm not really going to do the whole thing, we're just going to go around here. This is just a cute little template. It really is. I really enjoy the spin-e-fex, and the reason I enjoy them so much is because we can do so much with them. Take that hesitation stitch up at the top. Right. Here we go. Oop, let's go ahead and get that needle down. And we'll do one more after this. And it will give you a really good representation of how this is going to look. You see my thread is really starting to build up in the center, which is what happens when we do a lot of rotations. And this is why it helps to put that decoupage in the bobbin, because it's very thin and it helps that thread, that concentrated thread, not being quite as hefty as regular thread. Right now I've got regular thread in there. Okay, so here is the 12 point. Isn't that beautiful? There is so much template possibilities with these. Now this is the 3.5 inch. So I'm gonna grab my ruler and show you that when we do a 3.5 inch, we're going 1, 2, 3.5 inches from point to point. 1, 2, 3.5. So our center comes to 1 3/4 inches. Okay, that is pretty. That is definitely pretty. All right, let's see what we've got now. Template looks up, down. Ah, okay. Tape. Oh, this tape is on the wrong side. You know what? I'm reversed. So that's why I'm trying to keep it straight for you guys, and I must have gotten it off, Carla. I'm sorry. Lois is here from Delaware, and Lisa's here from Sugar Land, Texas. The template looks upside down. Yeah, I know what you're saying, Carla. I apologize for that. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at some other things that we can do. Now, these are going to be just plain stitch outs, okay? And I am going to use the 3.5 inch. Now, this should look correct for you, right, Carla? I want to make sure because, like I said, I'm reversed. So I can't type and watch at the same time, right, Carla? I get that. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this down and we're going to go around and we're going to make 4 rotations. Okay? So here we go. I'm going to pull my thread up in the center, and this is using the template the way it's intended to be used. And what I want to do is I want to do a 4-point and an 8-point rotation for you. Okay. Because I want you to see the versatility and the difference between them. Okay, so I'm going to line myself up vertically. I'm going to turn it around here so that you can see the temp or the stitching better. Now, what's going to happen is, Carla, this definitely will be upside down because I have it facing me. And this is the way I would normally stitch it. Okay. And this way my letters are right side up. So I do just turn it around so that you can see better, okay? This is the Spin-e-fex 15 3.5 inch for anyone who's just joined us. I'll go ahead and put it this way. Now, if I were to go ahead and reverse my camera, what would happen is everything would be backwards. So we'll just go ahead and go forward. And this one, for some reason, okay, there we go. Every once in a while, I think I get kind of a little glitch or something with my bobbin down there. Now, when I am working with Spinifex, and I'm going to do it the way I normally do it. As soon as I cut this thread off, here we go. I'm going to go from side to side. The other thing I want you to notice, I did not turn my block because that is how I like to stitch. It's a process that gets me stitching in every direction and practicing stitching in every direction. Okay, so now I'm going to go here. You do one rotation to the right. And then we're going to go ahead and twist our template and do one to the left. There is a reason for doing it this way. And that reason is because as we stitch, our fabric is drawn in with every stitch we take. And so when we do a spin-e-fex in this manner, we're drawing it in equally all the way around. If we go in a circular manner, we can end up with the last couple of rotations being a little wonky. Does that happen all the time? No, absolutely not. It does not happen all the time, but it can happen. So it's best to be safe. Okay. Now here's our 4 rotations with our template as it's expected to be. Okay. Jean, hi, Jean's iPad. Nice to see you. Ellen is here from Delaware. And Julia's here from Murray, Kentucky, heading to Paducah later this morning. Good to see you, Judy. Have a good time today. I'm sure you will. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do this now with the top, what it would be normally the top. We're going to put the top in the center instead this time. Okay. And down we go. There we are. So I'm going to do it the same way. Yes, Carla, it does remind me of the age of it's, and I am going to do it the same way, Carla. So I'm going to go ahead, start in the center, do my rotation, take my first stitch in place. Ah, there we go. Get rid of that. And around we're gonna go. There we go. I just wanted to pick up those few stitches that came out because I didn't properly lock my thread in. And I didn't do it because it's a practice square. So I'm not overly concerned about that. I'll get rid of those threads. There we go. Round we go. And back to the center. I gotta tell you guys, I really like how this looks too. There we go. Remember to take that extra stitch, that hesitate, I call it a hesitation stitch. And I call it that because I don't actually stop. I just hesitate so that it gets one extra stitch in there. You don't want to stop and get a bunch of stitches there, or what's going to happen is you're going to have ball of thread on the back where you stopped and took those extra stitches. And one more time. And here we go. Get that spread out of there. What do you think? Awesome, isn't it? Okay. Margaret's here from Melbourne, Australia. Good morning, Margaret. Although it's not morning, it's evening for you. So good evening. I wanna make sure I'm trying to make sure I get these time zones correct. Okay, so isn't that pretty? I really like it. It's really different. So now what I'm going to do, and this is really how I do practice a lot of these templates. When I get a new template, I play with it like this. Then what I like to do is I take this practice piece and I put it in the file folder with the template so that it brings to mind just what it is that I do, what I can do with it. So I'll take this guy and put him in there too, and make sure that I make my notes on it, that that's a 6 point, 6 reference lines on there, and that just helps me remember what I'm doing. All right, so let's go ahead and do the A point, and this is going to be with the inside, at the inside. Okay. And we'll take that one stitch in place. I'm gonna stop, always with my needle down, and go ahead and get these threads out of here. And I did move my template a little bit. No worries. I'm just going to move it back. It was just ever so slightly. And stop right there. I'm going to go ahead to the other side. I didn't I didn't clip those threads real good. It's okay. It's a practice piece. That's the nice thing about practice pieces. You can make mistakes and it doesn't matter, right? Oops, I got caught up. There we go. Now this is going to look similar because we're doing first what we did over here. Okay, back to center. And now we're going to come to our 45-degree lines. And again, I want to keep my fabric the same and just move my template, okay? Because this is really good practice. And again, I'm going to go across to the other side. Come in. Needle down. Always make sure that needle is down when you're going to be changing or moving your template. I love the secondary designs in this one. I really do. And this will be our last rotation. And we're going to come back to center here. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and take that out and look at the change. Look at the difference in these two. It's amazing. 4.8 point. Absolutely gorgeous, right? I love them. Absolutely love them. And now let's go ahead and do the 8 point with the top on the inside, okay? And can you imagine how much prettier 16 points is gonna look? Oh my gosh. Wow. And here we go. I'll go ahead and grab these threads. My hands are not working good today. Okay, here we go. We're going to do the same thing that we did over here, but we're going to do it with 8 rotations. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these threads. Here we go. Alrighty. And up on top. Okay, back to center. Again, we're going to do opposite sides so that we draw our fabric in evenly as we're stitching our rotations. I could spend about a week with this one. There's so many possibilities rattling around in my little brain. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Back to center. Now we're going to go off to our 45-degree lines. And we're going to go on the opposite side. And my foot just cut loose on me, so I'm gonna go ahead and tighten it down. There we go. I can hear it in my fabric, how my needle goes through when that foot comes loose. And it's just because I have this vintage machine and it vibrates loose sometimes. It's okay. It's a small price to pay because this gives me, I'm stuck. Okay, here we go. Uh, there. Because it does usually give me a really awesome, yeah, there we go. I got stuck there. So we're going to have one that looks a little wonky, but it's okay. It's practice. And we have one more to do. If this were a real quilt, I always say real quilt. If this were a quilt that I was doing to give to somebody or even just to keep to myself, and here it's getting stuck again. There we go. And you know what that could mean? It could mean that it's time for a new glider. I have had this one forever. And when it sticks like that, I'm going to show you what it's possible that it could be, okay? And we're just going to come on in and finish that up. There we go. And here is our 6 or our 8 point with the points pointing out. Can I say point anymore? Okay. No, my glider is perfectly fine. Okay. And this is what I was talking about. Making sure that the glider doesn't accidentally get chewed up, which it can do. I mean, because we're pulling threads and everything else. It's not the glider's fault, but this is what the problem was. I have got one big mass of thread here, and it was catching up on my machine right here. So that was the problem. The glider is 100% innocent. And here are the designs. There we go. That is with the inside or the outside of the template on the center. And this is with the bottom side of the template on the center. And this is 4 and 8 rotations. Oh, Linda, I love your look at Linda's response is precious. Oh, wow, I wasn't expecting that to look like that. I know, that's what's so much fun, Linda, with the spin-e-fex. Almost all of them are like that. They surprise you when you get them done. You're so happy that you got it, and you're always trying to think, what else can I do with it, right? I mean, that's what I do anyway, you know. So I've got one more that I want to show you. This one is a little more on the complicated side. Actually, let's do the border. I did do a bordered thing that I really, really ended up liking. Oh, I'm sorry. And this is it. And you know, it was interesting because when I first started it, I thought, "Well, this isn't really going to be much." But as I worked with it, I really fell in love with it. So I really want to share this with you guys. Okay, let's see what Lee has to say. Whoops, that's Jean. Good morning, Jean. Welcome. Okay, Lee says, I loving this is in all the different points and using them inside and outside. And that's what's awesome about our spin effects. We certainly need to turn them around and do them in all the different directions that we have. Okay, so this is what I came up with, and I'm going to show you how to do this. It's easily done. And what I did was I went ahead and completed one before I did the other. However, you don't have to do that. What you can do, and a lot of the templates I do this on. No, it's not gonna work the way my brain is working. It's not gonna work. Okay, so let's just go ahead and let's do this. I'm gonna start up here and move down. And the reason I'm doing it this way is just simply so you can see better. Okay, gonna go ahead and pull that thread up. Put my needle back down. And I'm starting here, but I want to end up here. So why wouldn't I start here and just do one rotation? There's a reason for that. And the reason being is that I'm going to have to travel. I'm going to have to travel on every successive rotation down. So I don't want this one to be different. Last night when we were doing the rope, somebody mentioned it bothered them that a portion of it was double stitched and another portion single stitched. I get that. I fully understand that. Sometimes we have to. We have no choice with the design that we're working with. Some of it has to be single stitch and some double stitch. If we want, we can double stitch everything and then make a triple stitch on one side. Let me explain to you what that difference is. If you have one line of stitching on one side and two lines of stitching on the other side, your eye can notice that. Your eye will pick that up. Will it be a glaring mistake? No, because we're doing it on every iteration. Okay. If, however, we do double stitch this and then triple stitch half of it, your eye will not pick that up. Anything over the double, you can triple stitch it, you can triple and quadruple, your eye will not pick that up. The reason that I don't care to double and triple stitch is simply because every time I go around this template, I have an opportunity for failure. Now that sounds really, really tough, right? I mean, it sounds bad, opportunity for failure, but it's true. You all know because you've been watching me long enough that if I look up at the clock while I'm stitching, I come off of this template. And so each time I go around, I have an opportunity, the phone ring, somebody walks in the room, the dog barks, whatever, any of those things can cause me to come off of that template if I stop and put my eyes up to see what the commotion is. So I'm going to do the double stitching first on one side, then on the other, and we're going to go back and forth. The reason we do that is because your eye is less likely to notice it. Okay? Does that help? All right. Okay, good. So here I go. I'm going to come around here. I'm kind of close to the edge, so my fabric is buckling a little bit. And what happened? Something just happened, guys. Can you believe this? I ran out of bobbin again. My goodness. What is going on with me and bobbin thread today? Okay, this one's almost full. Here we go again. Glad Janice isn't here this morning. And no, I'm not going to tell her about this. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, in you go. Fortunately, it only takes a second, right? That couldn't have been a better place to lose my bobbin thread, though, I will tell you. Okay, we're gonna, there we go. Let's get ourselves back where we belong here. This is a great way to use up bobbins too when you're practicing. That's what I tend to do. If I'm doing a real quilt, I do use the deco bob, but when I'm practicing, it's nice just to empty up some of those bobbins. All right, back we go. Get this out of the way. We're gonna come up. Now, this is where things get different. Okay. This is where I get different. What I've done is I've just put one rotation. I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to grab my spacing gauge and check this. And the reason I'm doing that is because I ran out of bobbin thread there and it's perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to go around one time. And Lee, I believe it was Lee who said never thought of using oh, hi Diane from Chicago. Oh, Susan said she never thought of doing a template as a border. I do that a lot. I really like the challenge of making the templates work for me. Come on, what's going on here? Let me turn it this way. I am stuck again. Okay, guys, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened. I just got a big old knot in there. Let's try this again. Maybe the second time is a charm, right? I apologize. I don't know what's going on. She did that to me a couple times yesterday too. Okay, we're gonna start right at the beginning again, okay? I think what I'll do is I'll just make a line over a little bit so that we're not so close to the edge. Really easy on practice pieces, right? Okay. What do they call this? Take number 5. All right. Yeah, I'm not getting you guys out of here early this morning either, am I? Let me pull this out and pull that bobbin thread back up. Well, okay. Things go any worse? All right. Just time is a charm, right? There. Let's get that big wad of thread out of here. I'm going to hold my threads back, make a couple small stitches, and we can let them go. There we go. And down we go. And there's our first rotation. So now what we're going to do after we cut this thread off, because y'all know how I dislike threads hanging, we're going to turn this template upside down. And we're going to go around one time. And I didn't start at the right space on this one. I apologize. I should have started on the top. And there we go. And needle down. Cursor foot came loose. I'm just going to slide it down. And we're going to go around this way. Now, this is the one that we have to make a double line of stitching on, and you can do it on either side. I'm going to go ahead and come right back down on the line I went up on. Whoops. Oh my goodness, this thread is horrible in this bobbin. Okay, and we're just going to keep on going like that, literally. Now, one thing I wanted to warn you about, when you look at this on mine, what you're going to see is this is really grossly different, okay? And that's because I'm using a dark fabric with a high contrast thread being white. And it will show every wiggle and wobble and every mistake that you make. All right. If you're doing it on your quilt and you use a color of thread that matches your quilt, your fabric a little better, you're not even going to notice if that happens. Okay. So we would just keep on going. And if you've got a wider or a larger border, then you would use a larger template. So how do you guys like the Spin-e-fex 15? There we go. There is the link to it. I certainly hope that you've enjoyed learning about the Spin-e-fex 15 as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. It's always my pleasure, and it always makes my heart smile to see you. And our next class will be Monday. We will be starting with the Starry Night Edge to Edge designs. Those are my favorite. So I'm really excited about it. I'm so glad you guys loved it. I think that's awesome. Thanks so much for being here. And I do appreciate you. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and share. And these videos will be available on the 906 YouTube channel as well as the So Steady YouTube channel. They will be available on Facebook for a short time. Okay. I hope to see you all Monday. And until then, let's quilt.